Aaron Vickers says, this is a great question because there's a funny story about this question. Thoughts on early arm bend in the second pull? Gabriel seems to have a partial arm bend and Miso keeps it locked in full on extension. So Gabriel, when you talk about arm bend, says he only bends his arms when his legs don't feel strong. That is true as God. That's what he says. He says he doesn't bend his arms. He only bends his arms when his legs don't feel strong. So it's not like he has that as part of his technical model. For us, early arm bend is absolutely no way non-negotiable. You change it or else you go somewhere else. It's the main thing you work on all of the time. We like somebody rounding their back in the deadlift and then expecting something else to be fixed before you fix the rounding of the back in the deadlift. It will be high on the list of priorities of things to fix in someone's clean.
So why is arm pull bad? Why is arm bend bad before they're supposed to bend? They're in the ideal place to bend them. So essentially, if you imagine that scenario that Gabriel's talking about, like, so why would his arms bend when his legs are not working? So essentially, it's what is taking the load, what is doing the pulling action, and what is compensating for the optimal levers not taking the load. So in this scenario, the optimal mechanics are your legs pushing off the ground and your back pulling, and your arms remaining in a rigid position but not a bent position, and they are moving the barbell up as much as possible because they are far stronger than your arms. So if you think about, your body has some internal protective mechanisms. If I want to run into that wall, unless I'm a psychopath, I can't really do that, And when you are moving there, your CNS kind of has a braking mechanism when less optimal or weaker muscles take the load. So when you're pulling and you start bending your arms, your CNS is very intuitive. Your body is very aware of what's going on. Thank God it is, because if we were left to control it, it might not be so great. But when you start bending your arms in the second pull, your body goes, oh shit, our arms are taking the load. They're not as strong as our legs. So we need to slow this barbell down because it's moving too fast for our arms to safely move, essentially. And so your arms are never really going to be as strong as your legs. And so in this scenario, the barbell will almost always slow down. And so any advantage you get from getting the bar higher up into your hip is massively outweighed by how the bar slows down from pulling with your arms. The other issue with pulling with your arms is that as you begin to extend, a very important part of the third pull is the active interaction with your arms and the barbell. And if your arms are already bent before you start the third pull, and then as you go into the third pull, if your arms are not in a position where they can pull the barbell in, if they're already bent here, it's a much harder position for you to actively keep pulling under as you get under the barbell.